Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. My name is Grant Dauber, and I'm the Director of Program Management for the Global Experience Office. We're gathered here today to talk about the NUN program and specifically the experience of our Explore program, our undeclared students at Northeastern, and about discovering your path within the NUN program. I've been with the university for about 7.5 years now and been with NUN for about 5.5 of those years. So hopefully we'll be able to answer most of your questions this evening about the academic experience of Explore students within NUN. We have some wonderful other staff members here from around the university to help us engage with you all this afternoon. So I want to turn it over to my colleague, Ben Floman, to introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from the Boston area. My name is Benjamin Floman. I'm an Associate Director of Academic Administration and Assessment with the NUN program in the Global Experience Office. I've been at Northeastern for over a decade and for the last 5 years have worked very closely with Grant and the whole team with the NUN program. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks so much, Ben. And now we have our wonderful colleagues from the Peer Tutoring Center. If I could toss it over to Tina for you to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm very happy to be here with you this evening or morning or whatever happens in your own time zone. I'm Tina Kondopoulos. I'm the director of the Peer Tutoring program at Northeastern University.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So as most of you are probably already aware, our locations are academically compatible with specific colleges and majors. So if you aren't sure what locations your college is compatible with, we recommend you take a look at our website and specifically our location eligibility page on our website to find out more about that information about what colleges and majors are compatible. Tonight's presentation will focus on the academic experience across all of our locations. So if you're looking for a more general overview of the entire NUN program, we recommend that you reach out to the Northeastern admissions team for access to one of our previous events. We also have some further events about our humanities and STEM focused locations and hearing from those college representatives next Monday and next Wednesday. Those are also on the virtual welcome platform. Great, so without further ado, let's jump right into it here. Here's an agenda of our presentation. First, we're going to talk about an overview of the academic experience within the NUN program. So what does it mean to take courses at one of our partner institutions abroad or in Boston? We'll hear from our student alumni panelists, and we'll hear from them specifically about the academic experience and some of their courses and some of their from their time abroad. We'll hear a little bit about our academic policies. We'll dive into a bit about each location, and then we'll hopefully have some time for some question and answer towards the end. We do have a very packed session this evening, so if you don't have your questions answered, we will have our information up for both the peer tutoring program and the NUN program, as well as our admissions team at the end of the slides. If I could just toss it over now, I want to introduce, or have them introduce themselves, some of our NUN alumni. So perhaps if I could ask Matt to go first, just tell us about yourself briefly.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, my name is Matt Kim. I'm from East Bay, California, which is just outside of San Francisco. I'm a finance and psychology major. I went to NUN Italy back in 2017, and I'm currently a senior right now. So time really flies when you're having fun here.
Thanks so much, Matt. And if I could just have Bhuvana introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Bhuvana and I'm a first year in the Explore program. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I did NUN Boston this past fall.
Thanks so much. And Lexi?
Hi everyone, my name is Lexi Feldman. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm currently a combined major in International Affairs and Cultural Anthropology with a Spanish minor. I participated in the NUN program in the fall of 2019 in England, and I'm currently in my second year and having a great time.
Thanks so much. And last but not least, Liza.
Hello, everybody. My name is Liza Rosen. I am a first year in the Explore program. I went all the way abroad to Boston last fall, and it was an amazing experience, and I'm having a great time.
Love that. Went all the way abroad to Boston last fall. I like that. Excellent. So let's jump right into it here and start off with a bit of an overview of the academic experience within the Explore program. A couple of unique features I want to mention. The Explore program's unique structure encourages self-discovery and offers a welcoming community of staff, student leaders, as you learn about the opportunities available to you as a Northeastern student. They have a plethora of experienced academic advisors to help you choose your courses, navigate Northeastern, and design your academic experiential path. There's a community of about 60 student leaders. They're called NUN mentors across majors, colleges to support you in your first semester and beyond. During the fall semester, actually, some of these mentors will connect with you individually or in small groups with other Explore program students at your site. And your mentor will help facilitate activities to guide you in your academic exploration and help you prepare for your transition to campus in the spring, whether that is abroad or down the street with the NU in Boston location. Exploratory events are also set up throughout the fall and spring semesters to help connect you with faculty, advisors from the different colleges, as well as alumni from the Explore program in majors of your interest. So they really go above and beyond to help you learn as much as you can about the different choices available to you before you decide to declare that major. Feel free to reach out to the Explore program. I know we'll have some information towards the end of the presentation about how to reach them, but I look forward to speaking with you further about the academic offerings. So I want to toss it over now to Benjamin Floman to talk to you all a little bit more through academics within the NUN program and choosing courses and course maps and all sorts of fun things. So Ben, take it away.
Thanks, Grant. Hello again, everyone. I want to talk to you a little bit about a great resource that we have available on our website right now. The course maps are a great tool to give you a preview of what classes will be available to you at each of our locations, either internationally or locally, domestically in Boston. All of the courses that you'll see listed on all of those course maps are pre-approved for transfer credit to Northeastern, as long as students receive the equivalency of a C grade or better. That is one of the policies of the university is you have to have a C grade or better in order for the coursework and the credits to transfer back. Each of the course maps for each location, as I said, are on the website, and they are specific to the different colleges and programs at Northeastern for each of our 5 programs. So we really encourage you to navigate to those spaces and take a look at the menu of courses that are available. As Grant has just pulled up here, you can see an example of the landing page, one of our web pages for the course maps. And this is for the England program. And as you can see here, there's a list of the different colleges that are academically compatible with our NU in England program. I think as Grant had mentioned at the top, all Explore students are academically compatible with all of our programs because we want to make sure that you have the availability and accessibility to do just that, to explore and see what is or may not be the right fit for you. As you take some time to click through some of the different programs and look at the Explore maps, what we'd like you to try and think about a little bit is which collection of courses is going to be a better fit for what you think you may want to do. We understand that as Explore students right now, you're not exactly sure what academic area of interest you want to pursue, and that's totally fine. You'll have the opportunity to speak with the Explore Advising Office later on this summer to talk about some of your interests. But before you get there, you'll want to pick a program that you think generally aligns with what you want to study. The course offerings tend to fall into 2 major buckets. One is we have coursework that aligns more with STEM-based and lab-based courses. And then we have curriculum that is more closely aligned with social sciences, humanities, and the arts. So just take a look at what's offered there and get a better sense of what you think might fit for what you're interested in studying. Here is specifically what one of the course maps looks like. And what I want to do is just kind of talk through what we're looking at here, because this is a really good reflection of sort of the NUN academic model. And so what this shows is a breakdown of the different courses and types of courses that NUN students take, and specifically NUN Explore students. So we have the 1 credit Global Learning Experience course. And this course is optional. It is not requisite for you to take this course, but students are strongly recommended to take it. It's online, it's fully remote, and it's a great way for students to start to learn a little bit about global learning, intercultural communications, and develop some of those baseline skills that'll be really useful and important to you as college students, as folks applying for co-ops down the line, etc. And that is a course that's available for students across all of our sites and locations to sign up for. Another part of the overall academic model is that students will take a local culture course. As you can see on this map, students going to England will all take the Cultures of London class. In some of our other programs, students will have options to select from, and these can range from history to economics to arts to theater. And the idea is that we want our students to have a sense of the community and the place where they're living and studying in the NUN fall semester. And this course helps provide some of that context. So beyond the 1 credit course and the culture course, Explore students are also defaulted into 1 required course, which is their first year writing class. All Northeastern students are required to take this class, and doing this in your first semester with NUN is a great opportunity to sort of knock out that requirement. We do recognize and acknowledge that many students pass out of the first year writing class. Students have AP, IB, transfer, and other types of advanced coursework and credit. And if that's the case, don't worry. As I mentioned earlier, you will have the opportunity to meet with the Explore Advising Office, who works really closely with all of their students to make sure that if you pass out of that required class, that you will be able to select an alternative instead. And speaking of alternatives, that's kind of the last section of the map that we're looking at the bottom. And that is a list of additional elective course options. And those courses can range from business to social sciences to arts and humanities classes here in England. And those will vary based on our partner institution in our program. So that's sort of big picture. That's the course map. I'm sure if you haven't already, you will after this webinar. Take a peek maybe sometime over this weekend and look at some of those course offerings to get a better feel academically for what's available. Just to jump into a little bit of the nuts and bolts about what the actual course registration process looks like. Towards the end of May and beginning of June, students and families will be communicated to about registration opening for NUN. Explore students may hear from the Explore office even before registration opens to talk through and get a sense of what your interests are and what you think you probably want to register for, which classes. And they're going to kind of work with you hand in glove to assist you in that registration process. So after that initial point in time where students will be able to have access to the course registration process and sign up for courses, before and after that, you will be hearing from the Explore Advising Office to help you pick the courses that are the right fit for you. Students will ultimately receive their final schedule, the times, the days of the week, the locations, the buildings, etc., once students arrive on location and on site, we work closely with our partners and we try to make sure that students have the best possible schedule, and those schedules are worked throughout the summer and are really finalized once students arrive on location.
Thanks so much, Ben. One other note to point out, I know that folks might be excited or anticipated planning some travel while they're abroad on location or within the Boston area. We do ask that folks hold off on those plans until they find out what those schedules are like. In the event that you do have that proverbial Friday 3 p.m. class, which I know is tough for some folks, but it is a possibility based on our scheduling. So please hold off to make plans for any sort of extra travel that you want to do, individual travel, until you do know that final course schedule. Thanks so much, Ben, for walking us through some of that. Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Tina to talk a little bit more about the peer tutoring program as a resource that's available to all of our NUN students.
Hi guys, again, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to meet with you and present the peer tutoring program and discuss how it can positively impact your learning experience at Northeastern University. The peer tutoring program, or PTP, as we refer to shortly, is a free resource available to all Northeastern undergraduate students. The mission of the program is to help students reach their academic potential by promoting peer-to-peer learning, integrating peer tutoring into the curriculum, and reframing peer tutoring as an extension of the classroom experience. The goal of the program is to empower all our undergraduate students at Northeastern by engaging them with the curriculum in order to enhance their learning experience and improve their academic performance. We also assist our students with the learning process in order to help them become self-directed, strategic, and mindful learners. PTP serves approximately 3,000 students, undergraduate students per academic year, and enjoys a 99% student satisfaction rate for the services rendered. All free, all peer tutoring, as you can see, is free. So this is a free resource which is offered by students for students. The peer tutoring program partners with faculty to recruit and hire highly qualified current undergraduate Northeastern students to provide tutoring services for selective courses offered at the Boston site, as well as the partner institutions, including the various NUN sites. All peer tutoring services currently delivered online, including those for the NUN students. Our tutoring services can be either one-on-one, which predominantly are, or small group of tutoring. And those small groups have to, on the other hand, to be from the same section, the same course, and the same instructor, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Now, what kind of courses does the peer tutoring program support? We support the majority of introductory level courses, which, you know, that's where your that's what the courses that you are going to be enrolled in. Usually they have high demand of tutoring. And however, if you look at our website and you cannot find, or you go to book an appointment and you cannot find the course that you are looking at for in the tutoring web app, then you can submit an inquiry and we'll make every effort to really connect you with a peer tutor, or to identify some resources either in the Boston area campus or in your site. All our peer tutors are undergraduate students who have been highly recommended by the faculty. They have completed the courses either in the NU Insight, so they may be alumni of the NUIN program or in the Boston campus. They have expertise and depth of knowledge in a particular course that they are offering tutoring, and they have been highly recommended by the faculty whose course they are planning to tutor. To book an appointment, I know it's too early, and we'll continue the conversation after this section, but it's very easy as 1, 2, 3. Once you have access to your student hub, then you can really reach to tutoring and book an appointment in the course that you would like some support, and choose the time zone. And this way you can only see the peer tutors which they are available during your time zone. Once you submit a tutoring request, then you receive a confirmation email with the link, and that is the link that you're going to use to access your online tutoring session. Again, in the time zone that you have specified in the location that you are in. You can get more information by checking our website under the Northeastern portal with the word peer tutoring. Or you can contact us via an email at peertutoring@northeastern.edu, and one of our PTP leadership team members will get back to you. Thank you so much for listening to us. Keep the conversation going. We are looking forward to serving you.
Thank you so much for that overview of the peer tutoring program. It really is an awesome program and a great resource for students in NUN. We're super happy to partner with Tina and her team to give you that resource. No worries if you forget some of those steps, or if forgot the email. We'll be revealing some of that information as well as during our pre-departure orientations before students depart for their locations. Speaking of which, I want to take a few moments now to dive into each of our locations for 2021 to give you all a sense of the academic experience of that location. So talking about resources that are available, the process to apply for accommodations, for learning accommodations, and sort of the overall feel of the campus and the classroom at each location. So first up, we'll talk about our NUN England location. Our school of record here is actually the New College of Humanities. That's our partner within London. Northeastern entered into a strategic partnership with them a few years back and has grown exponentially from that point. We offer several programs now that work with NCH, as we refer to them as. What's exciting about this campus this year is that they have moved. We were over in the Bloomsbury sector of London, but for this year, we're excited to announce that we will be in St. Catherine's Docks, which is just a stone's throw away from the Tower of London and Tower Bridge. So you'll be able to see that while you're studying for your exams. The course format and at our NUN England location, most sections of courses are filled with other NUN students, but may also include students on other programs from Northeastern, as well as students who are seeking their degree from the New College of Humanities in London. NCH courses are tailored towards NUN students. So as Ben mentioned before, our faculty and our academic advisor teams work closely with NCH to tailor courses so that learning outcomes, that deliverables are similar to what you would receive in Boston. However, it's not going to be the same, and that, in my opinion, is the beauty of NUN, is you get to experience a sort of different classroom environment, different academic feel within each location that is a little bit different from our Boston campus. In terms of resources, the culture in London, and in fact at all locations, varies and is reflective of that own country's culture and academic environment. What I mean by that, for instance, is that in England, they see instructor as the best and most important resource to students. So students should feel comfortable in approaching faculty with follow-up questions, to discuss lectures, all these sorts of things to clarify information. And if you're not comfortable, don't worry, we'll work closely with you, and we have staff on site to support you in sort of that growth area for you. But we do encourage students to approach faculty and ask them questions about the information they're receiving. In terms of disability accommodations, we work closely with Northeastern Disability Resource Center with this location to complete evaluation of those accommodations. So if you were on an individualized education plan in high school, you'll want to connect with our office as soon as possible. I know we're going to have some information going live on our enrollment portal after the May 1st deadline, in which you can submit documentation to the Disability Resource Center for evaluation. But those will be evaluated, and then you'll hear back from them in terms of what comparable accommodations we're able to provide you at this location. So I know you've heard a lot from our staff and up until this point in the presentation, so I do want to toss it over to right now to Lexi for a question. Lexi, could you tell us about your culture course in London and what were some of the highlights of that course for you?
Sure. So I was very appreciative of the culture course because, as you can imagine, it can be very daunting to be abroad in your very first semester of college and not have any familiarity with where you're studying. But with the culture class, there was a lot of built-in exploration of London. London's a huge city filled with so much culture, things you hear a lot about or read growing up, whether it be Dickens or Sherlock Holmes. And it was great because within the class, we would spend class time going on walking tours and seeing places Dickens was growing up, or getting to go to the Globe after reading Midsummer's Night Dream. And so it was a really experiential class, and it really it took away that fear factor of not being that comfortable with where you're studying, because so much of the class was built around understanding where you're studying and the culture behind it. And so you're doing that with a cohort of people in your class also. So through that, it was also a nice way to meet different people that maybe weren't taking the same classes that you are, since the culture class is one that everyone has to take. So I really enjoyed that, and it was a great way of getting to explore the city I was studying in for the next few months.
Thank you so much. Switching gears a bit, we're going to travel south to our NU in Greece program. So our school, and this is actually these are all photos from those classroom spaces. If you're curious, our school of record there is the American College of Thessaloniki. This is a long-standing partnership that Northeastern has had with the American College of Thessaloniki, or as we refer to it, ACT. If you're not familiar with Thessaloniki, it's the second largest city within Greece, and it's really comparable to Boston in the sense that it's really a hub for higher education within the country of Greece. The campus and classroom environments, the university is on a gated lot a little bit above the city center. So students stay downtown, and they have a 20-minute or so coach bus ride from the hotels, and yes, they do stay in the hotels in Greece, up to the side of the mountain that overlooks Saloniki to take their courses. It's a pretty small campus. There's olive trees on it. You can spend some time outside, even late into the semester in November when it's still warm out, to do some studying outdoors. The course format here, some of the courses are integrated with other students who are taking courses at ECT for the fall semester. Others are so specific that they are NUN only, or as we refer to them, closed courses for NUN students. ACT has a pretty extensive academic resource center called the Learning Hub. They have math tutors, writing tutors who are available to you by appointment, so students can feel free to schedule those and check in with some of their peers who have taken these courses at ACT before, or as Tina told us, contact the peer tutoring program remotely from Greece. In terms of disability accommodations, ACT accepts diagnoses and recommendations that were identified and determined prior to arrival. So as we get closer to May, as I mentioned before, we'll have our portal open for students to submit paperwork on, in which case we will work with ACT to communicate back and forth with you, and so that you'll know what to expect upon arrival. However, I do want to stress that at this location as well as other locations, it's important to approach faculty and talk to them about these sort of things, especially if you feel like you're not getting what you need from the course. Of course, we're also here to help you with that as well too at NUN, so feel free to talk to someone if you think that you need different accommodations. I will say as a general word of advice and what I've seen over the years, even if you don't think you're going to need them or perhaps aren't sure if you're going to need them, I would recommend at least submitting paperwork so that that process is started, because it's much harder to get those accommodations mid-semester, let's say a week or even the night before a midterm exam when you're wishing that you had some more time on that test. So please keep that in mind when you're thinking about next steps for you. Traveling back again north to NUN Ireland. The school of record here is the University College Dublin, another long-standing partnership. This was actually our only location that operated in 2020. So we had about 80 students on UCD's campus in last fall. It's a pretty large green campus just outside the city center. It's about a 15-20 minute walk across campus. It's a rather spacious area. Lots of students outside interacting, laying on the quad, that sort of thing, kind of classic residential campus feel. The course format at University College Dublin is that some classes are integrated with other UCD students. This is a photo of one of those classes. So we had students who were in here mingling with other local Irish students. Again, others are pretty focused. So I know specifically there are some chemistry courses here that are for NUN only, as we have worked closely with the College of Science to make sure that those learning outcomes are reflective of what the faculty at Northeastern wants you to get out of those courses. UCD, similar to our other locations, also has a math and writing support center. So students can register for one-on-one appointments, or I believe they also do host some walk-in appointments as well. Similar to our partner in Greece, UCD in Dublin has another assessment process when it comes to learning accommodations. They have a access and lifelong learning department that can review some things. I do know in general, UCD is a bit stricter in terms of the types of accommodations that are provided to students. So if you're curious about this and want to hear more before you decide to make a deposit for this location, please reach out to the NUN program to hear more information about that. Next up, we have NUN Italy. Our partner there is John Cabot University, or JCU. This is an American university in the heart of Rome. They do use the American grading scale. All classes are also taught in English. The campus is a bit segmented, I'll say, because of the buildings and the sort of neighborhood that it's in Trastevere, Rome. There are 3 campuses. They're all within distance of one another, 5-10 minutes. Definitely wear some comfortable shoes. I know that it's a lot of cobblestone streets, so be careful walking on. The campus and classroom environments, there are several, as I mentioned, different campus locations, and they're kind of walled off, so you wouldn't necessarily know that there's a wonderful, beautiful central space in there with lots of trees and lots of places students drinking coffee and cappuccinos, and rooftop terraces in which students can pop up there and study in between classes. And also is secured access at all points of entry. The course format will say that most sections will be filled with other NUN students. I do want to point out that at this location, because the classes are worth 3 credits each, students do take 5 courses at this location. Academic resources, there are tutoring centers and private tutors available for math, science, and writing, like most other locations. Similarly to University College Dublin, we do work closely with John Cabot University's Associate Dean for Accommodations and Reporting to make sure that those accommodations and those different resources are available to students with those IEPs. So please reach out to us for more information on that. I do want to pause right now. I've been talking again for a bit of time and toss it over to Matt to tell us about his classroom experience in Italy. What was that like, and sort of what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, for sure. So the classroom experience was incredible. Like what Lexi said and Grant said in the past, you are with NUN students along with some other John Cabot, as well as any other universities that are also doing a similar program. when I was there. Notre Dame and USC students were there as well. The professors are very passionate about what they teach, and they encouraged us to meet outside of the class with them in office hours so that we can, or they can really help us with the material and any homework or final projects that we are working on. And they've been really accommodative with that. I will say the class, like what Lexi said, in terms of the writing and reading class, that class was very immersive. Our professor brought us out to look at some Gothic churches. I remember one time on a field trip, and at the end of the trip, she actually bought us gelato, which was pretty cool. And just from a perspective as a senior, hindsight is really 2020. And since I don't really have that kind of same, Italian experience and that foreign exchange study abroad program that I do now, that I had then, but don't have now, I really wish that I took more advantage of kind of exploring Rome, integrating what I had learned in the class and carrying it over to kind of, oh, like I remember we talked about this in class, especially during the culture aspect. And the professors are really fun and really open. You can ask them like, hey, is there anything you like to do outside of the classroom? Like anything you recommend in terms of like food, gelaterias, coffee shops, and who knows, they might actually join you too and buy you some coffee. So it was pretty solid.
Thanks so much for that insight. It's awesome stuff. And then last but not least, as we're coming to the close of our presentation, I do want to talk about NU in Boston. Our school of record here within Boston is the College of Professional Studies, which is one of the colleges within the university umbrella. Classes will still be represented on the Northeastern University transcript as transfer credit. As Ben said before, this is no different than any of our other international locations in that sense. The campus and classroom environment, we expect courses to be run in their usual modalities, meaning in person, on campus in Boston. We are phasing out our new flex modality, which was a hybrid sort of in-classroom, also virtual modality for the fall. So we're working on that and more information to come. But our location for housing is yet to be announced. We anticipate to do so as soon as next week, perhaps. But there will be a bit of a commute to campus from that accommodation. Most sections are filled with NUN students at the Boston location. The classes really range on size depending on what the content is. You have access to all of Northeastern University's academic resources, the Writing Center, peer tutoring program, as well as the library, which is another awesome spot on campus to get support for classes. And as I mentioned before, in NU in Boston, you would submit your information to the Disability Resource Center for evaluation prior to your arrival, if possible. And once you're approved, you have those accommodations for that semester as well as beyond on campus. So I want to pause here, and I know we're only about 6 minutes away from the end of our time, but I do want to toss it over to Liza and Bubina for a couple of words about your favorite course while in the NU in Boston program.
I'll go first. So my favorite course in NU in Boston was probably my culture course. And since I was in NU in Boston, there were a lot of people there. We had a multitude of courses to choose from. So I chose a course called Current Issues in Cities and Suburbs, which looking at it, I had like no idea what it meant. But in hindsight, it was one of the most amazing courses I've ever taken because Northeastern is right at the cornerstone of so many neighborhoods in Boston. So through this course, I got to study a neighborhood in an immersive small group. So the class was really big. It was like a 130-person lecture. And we met in small groups, which then broke down into smaller groups of around 5 people. And I got to have an in-person experience with those people since the course was online. And we got to travel to a specific neighborhood. My neighborhood was Mission Hill, which is like a 10-minute walk from campus. And we got to study all the aspects, the government of the neighborhood, how people live in the neighborhood, how Northeastern personally affects that neighborhood. And it was just really interesting to see my impact as a student on campus at Northeastern in Boston and how I can help that neighborhood to thrive. And yeah, it was just a really amazing opportunity.
For me, my favorite course was the International Business and Global Social Responsibility. the course was one of the few of my classes that was able to go to in person. And it was heavily discussion based. So being able to talk to people in the classroom and virtually was a nice, refreshing experience compared to like lockdown the few months before. And a lot of my friends that I made last semester came from that class. So I had a really nice time in that class.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all of you being on this call, especially on a Friday at 5 p.m. So shout out to you all for coming through for us. Great. I'm going to switch gears and just start to wrap up and get to a few questions as we close. So looking ahead to what could be in store for you if you haven't deposited already and you're still considering this program, I hope today was a valuable source of information in helping you decide whether the NUN program will be a good fit for the starting of your college career. You can place your deposit anytime between now and May 1st in your application status check. You will select your location at that time of your deposit. So you go in, select, NUN Italy and make the deposit at that time, and that secures you a spot in that program. You can check to see if a site is approaching capacity at any time by viewing the Make Deposit link in your app status check. So details about if the location has reached capacity, is approaching capacity, or still available will be in there. If location has already reached capacity, you will be able to see and select a different one in your dropdown, and you'll be able to add your name to a wait list for that location if it's already been closed. Great. I will throw up here, as this is more of an academically focused presentation, some resources for our colleagues across the university and the different departments. I know we talked a bit about Explore at the start of this, so there's Explore's email up there if you have questions about more how they work, or you want to reach out to them, or any of the advisors. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear from you. As I mentioned before, we do have some other events coming up next Monday and Wednesday, and we will have representatives from some of these colleges on that call as well in the chat to answer some more detailed questions about academics for those programs. Great, so this is the last slide of our presentation. I'll throw up our contact information on here. Please feel free to email us or call us. I do want to pause and toss it over to Jenny Woodford, our marketing manager within the Global Experience Office, to see if we could squeeze in maybe 2 questions here before we sign off.
Hi, Grant. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So a question that we're getting in the chat is, what if I have a lot of advanced credit? How will I know which classes to take?
Ben, do you want to pop in here?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we definitely see students coming into Northeastern with a lot of advanced credit and transfer credit. And the good news is that we have developed a pretty robust menu of courses with all of our programs. So if students are passing out of any requirements for certain majors, there are going to be good backup or alternative courses that can either fulfill other major new path or elective course requirements. Yep.
Awesome. Squeeze one more, and Jenny, do you have another quick one we can just tackle?
Yep. The next question students are asking is if it's true that NUN students can take classes pass-fail.
Another great question there. No, NUN isn't exactly pass-fail. What students need to do is students have to earn a C grade or better in the equivalent of a C grade or better during their NUN semester in order to make sure that they are meeting the policy of Northeastern to have their coursework transfer in order to have that credit transfer. So it's not pass-fail. NUN students will finish their fall semester with 2 transcripts. One is the transcript with the partner institution from the fall that will show your grades and the credits and will have a GPA. And the second will be your undergraduate transcript, the transcript that you'll have for the next 4 or 5 years at Northeastern. And the coursework from the NUN semester will transfer over to your undergraduate day school record.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben, for that quick answer on that question. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Our panelists, Tina, Ben, folks from admissions, Jenny on the line, and all of you at home who joined. Hope to see you on the program sometime soon. And if not, maybe at the next virtual welcome platform event. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.